Hi everybody, welcome. And like I mentioned in my video in early October, this month I'm looking for meaningful ways to contribute to Joe Biden's campaign to get him elected for president and prevent Donald Trump from winning a second term. And before we get started, I want to get this out of the way. As a formal warning to any of you epic gamers that still watch this channel, I am a pretty liberal guy and I'm not going to pull any punches through the course of this video. I really am going to try to avoid spreading any negativity, circle jerking myself off a cliff to the tune of Orange Man bad, really anything like that. And oh, look, here's our current president right now. This guy is our president. Now, in order to make a real impact, I'm going to try and change the minds of people that are clearly Donald Trump supporters or conservative voters by using my personal Twitter account to respond to responses to Donald Trump's tweet. Look, here's a fantastic example of somebody that I can convince. Hey Debbie, you seem like a pretty cool gal, except for the fact that you support that Trump fella. Man, that guy is just a balloon, overflowing with so much sloppy Joe filling that medically, you could eat his brain and it wouldn't be considered cannibalism. Hashtag vote Joe. And donate to the Biden campaign. All right, guys, so obviously that first part was a joke because berating people who have stood by Trump for 4 years is not going to change any minds, let's be completely honest. But since I've never really contributed to a campaign before outside of voting and ranting to people firmly inside of my echo chamber, I don't actually know where to begin, so I'm just going to Google how to help Joe Biden. It looks like if you go on his website, you put in your name, your zip code, your phone, and your email, and it directs you to opportunities in your area to assist. I've taken the liberty of signing up for every text bank on each Friday from now until Election Day, now being October 12th. And I also signed up every Wednesday to take part in the Pennsylvania Digi-Dialer team, which is basically just, I'm assuming, calling people. So I will be calling and texting people, doing 2 events per week, and hopefully reaching out, having some conversations with undecided voters and changing some minds, hopefully. So like I said, I'm going to be partaking in the Pennsylvania Digi-Dialer event. So I went through the training, I'm on the Slack. Basically, there's this tool which will give me a script and stuff to talk about with whoever I end up talking to. Really not sure about how this is going to go. I've never cold called before, so I'm sure I'll get just a ton of people hanging up. It's a 2-hour session, and I'm doing this a few times, so this is just the first one. Yeah, so we're gonna get into it. I'm not going to record what other people are saying because that's messed up. But I'll probably just like have a montage of me, calling people over some commentary. Classic Spiky Jesus vibe for sure. So let's do it. So phone banking pretty much went off without a hitch. The training was super easy. The tool was super easy. Yeah, and I just made a bunch of calls. I talked to a bunch of talked to a few undecided voters. Got into the groove after a few, cold call just hang-ups. It was a little bit demoralizing at the beginning, but after getting like 5 or 10 under the belt, it felt okay to get hung up on. A few highlights from the first phone banking session include like a quality 10-minute call with an undecided voter, a 15-minute call with an elderly guy who very passionately expressed his desire to have Trump forcibly removed from office. And then the usual getting told to die by various Trump supporters. So those were some major highlights of the phone bank. A couple of days after the phone banking experience, I followed up with a 3-hour text bank, which was a significantly lower stress and a little bit lower engagement, I would say, than phone banking. And I'm not sure it had the same effect in having quality conversations with undecided voters. But the purpose of these was largely educational, in educating voters how to turn in their mail-in ballot, vote on Election Day, or other information-based conversation topics. Sometime after the first week of phone and text banking, I went and dropped off my mail ballot at my county election office. without a hitch, super easy. I'm lucky that I live in a suburb and there are not a lot of lines in order to get my vote counted. And I'm used to the vote by mail process as I was voting from Boston during my college years. So I'm familiar with how those things are set up. And in truth, that pretty much covers everything I did this month. I voted, I phone banked, I text banked, I did donate probably in total over the course of the Biden campaign, probably around or a little bit more than $200. And really the purpose of this month's challenge was less to produce, a quality video, which I hope this still ends up being, but really more to force myself to contribute to a campaign in a meaningful way beyond just getting my vote counted. Because I feel like this election in particular, and subsequent elections, I will look for ways to make a difference, but this election in particular felt like a necessity for me to go above and beyond what I would typically do during an election year. And I am recording this on election day, so we'll see if it paid off. I hope that it did. Living in a swing state, I feel like, phone banking and text banking definitely has a big impact. Getting the people in my life and, having a conversation with the people in my life about voting and policy issues that are important to us is something we regularly do as a family anyways. So I kind of checked all the boxes of a good election year performance as like a citizen, I would say. But yeah, we'll see what ends up happening. Really briefly, I will also plug the podcast that I've been recording with my buddy Colin. In case you want to hear more of me talking or less of me talking and more of Colin talking, we do have a podcast, which I will link in the description for your own enjoyment. And the reason I'm mentioning it is because tonight we are recording an election special podcast, which will be released maybe tomorrow or the day after for, again, your entertainment. So if you're interested in that, feel free to check it out. Otherwise, I'll be back next month or in the intermediary with, a shorter, less substantial video. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next month.